Okay, part two of the install. We've installed the batteries, the distribution system, all the fusing for this system, and now we're going to install the inverter and a Cerbo GX. I'm not sure if I'm going to install the screen for it because it's Bluetooth anyways, but we will see and continue on that way. The plan is not to hook this into the inverter wiring in the fifth wheel, which is up here in all the Model Zs here. The plan is to punch a hole through that wall above where that generator wiring, accessory wiring is, and then put a 30 amp receptacle on the back side of it, and then I can just use the stock wiring, like the extension cord basically that you normally would plug into when you're on site somewhere at a campsite. There's some advantages to that and there's some disadvantages for that. The advantages for that are the following. You're the one controlling when the AC power, the inverter, is turning on and off, because you physically have to do it. You physically have to plug into this plug. The disadvantages are when you do that, you have to turn off the RV's converter at the breaker box, and there's no automatic switching, of course. But the automatic switching, if you want to look at it, can be not having it can be a benefit, because the AC system just doesn't come on when it's disrupted, and you physically manually have to do it. So we would only use basically the inverter when we're boondocking, and that's just something that, you know, I want to physically switch over to it. I don't want it to inadvertently leave it on or let it turn itself on. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, of course, you can get a fancy Victron unit, put it up on the roof there, have it tied into the inverter wiring and have it automatically switch. Maybe that's something I'm going to do in the future, but I'm not doing that now. So I'm putting a 30 amp plug. Oh, and the other disadvantage, you have to control the load you're putting on this, because this is only 30 amps. So you can't run both ACs. You can't run, like, you know, a huge load of things, but you know, you can run quite a bit. You could run at least one AC and all your other AC stuff, which is fine. So anyways, that is the plan. All right, so a generator accessory wiring box has been moved from there down to there, so about a foot. And you might ask, Adam, why not use the generator accessory wiring panel? Just hook your inverter into that. Well, the main reason is that the generator accessory wiring does not go to the AC fuse box in the RV. It just goes to another panel down there. So you'd have to extend it up with wiring anyway to your panel. So it's not a direct. Why they don't just hook it up directly so that this is energized, like, so that it just, I don't know why. And same with that, you have to hook the wiring up to. Anyways, so I'm going to put my own plug in. If I ever put a generator in the future, which probably would never happen, we can use that, or just leave it, you know, in case we ever sell it or whatever. It's ready to go. But that's the reason why. The wiring actually doesn't go anywhere. It goes under the RV. Below the fuse box, and it's just another box like this that you have to actually hook into and continue on to your panel. So, all right, so I could reuse these 4-aught cables and just run one set of 4-aught cables, but they're not really the right length. These are the ones that came off the battery box. So I'm going to have to make up my own cables using 2-aught. I'm going to double these, so there's going to be 2 and 2, 2 positive 2-aughts and 2 negative 2-aughts. They're going to be fused in, each set with their own 250 amp breaker in the the Lynx distribution box. So that should easily be able to carry that load. And it's fused at 250, so which is under the maximum watt rating of 3000, and it's extremely short run too. So that wiring should be adequate for the potential load that it could take. All right, so actually that was pretty tough to mount by myself because it weighs, I don't know what it weighs, 20 plus pounds. It's all leveled off, looks nice. There's going to be it's going to drop straight down into the distribution. I'm going to do double 2-aughts, so Looking good. All right, so there we go. We've got the inverter mounted, the AC wire going through the bulkhead. Perhaps that should be like armored, but for now, anyways, it's going to be like that. That's 10.2, so it can have 30 amps of power running through it, which is it's actually going to be less than that because it's a 250 amp fuse there. I did reuse the 4-gauge wires, so I just used what was left over. So those are pretty hefty cables, and there's a very, very short run, so those will handle the amperage no problem. And then it's fused off, and now I'm starting to wire the Cerbo GX. I'll show you on the other side what it looks like. A little dark in here, but so there's the receptacle that's wired in there, right beside the leveler. So, and then you just take your handy dandy plug that you plug wherever it was, plug it in there, and then you plug your 50 amp cable in there, and there you go. 30 amp adapters like this bond L1 and L2 together, so whatever you want to use in your RV, you should be able to use. Obviously, you have to watch how much power you're drawing, but we'll give it a test in a second. All right, so let's power the system back up. Everything else is disconnected, but we can power this up. Okay. Very nice. And if I throw the switch, let's just see here, everything's definitely connected correctly. Let's throw the inverter on. Is it in the switch mode? What mode is that? There we go. It has a manual mode. It is looking correctly. Let's go check I got a smart power thing on, make sure it says it's wired correctly. And the smart power thing says, yes, it is wired correctly. So now there we go. We have 30 amps on the end of this. So I can just plug it right into the socket and we're good to go. Other than taking the converter, turning the converter off on the panel, which you have to do every time. And there we go. We've got pure sine wave AC power running off the system. So pretty good. All right, so Cerbo GX is now mounted. That's where I decided to put it. I'm not sure where I'm going to put the monitor or if I'm even going to use the monitor. I just wired it directly, positive, negative, into the distribution block. It's a little bit overkill using it, but whatever. It has its own little tiny fuse there, so I don't have to worry about that 250 amp fuse there. I'm just going to do the wire ties like that. I'll probably pin it down a little bit better, but I just wanted to spark it up and see if it works, how it works. I have no idea. Supposedly the Lynx Shunt 1000 gets plugged. You can plug it into any of the VE CAN bus, or not bus, VE CAN RJ connectors. So I assume once I put the power on, it should all just spark up. I'm not sure about this terminator, if it depends what position it needs to be in, or if I need to put another terminator there. I don't know, but I might have to look that up. We'll see in a minute. All right, so this is how I've hooked it up for now. I gotta still put the cover on there, but the Cerbo GX, pretty easy to install. I only have the Lynx Shunt connected. In the future, you know, we'll probably add, who knows, maybe a Victron unit or whatnot, or a new solar charger. I can't seem to connect to that one with Bluetooth, but regardless, I can connect to this with my phone, or even the batteries with my phone. So this little monitor can stay in here for until I feel like switching it, but fits nicely there. It's pretty easy to hook up. I mean, it's a no-brainer, really. The power to there. There's VE CAN bus, or not the bus, the VE CAN, and USB and HDMI for the little screen. I have this turned on and off. 10 seconds, you can go in and adjust it. But yeah, so overall good. I'm gonna get this buttoned up, and that's about it. And with I have the whole system on now, so it's relatively sunny out. It's charging 200 watts. I was actually at 400 watts just a minute ago. So kind of eliminates the need to have the MPPT, because, you know, this shows any change across the shunt. So if you put all of your solar on this side and then all of your batteries on this side, it knows that the power is coming or going. So I'm not sure why you'd want the the smart solar chargers, this will tell you, what's going on. The batteries are charging, discharging, how many watts. So you can see it doing it right there. Nope. All right. Well, batteries are at 100%. There we go. But yeah, great system.